the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed.
Hi, I'm Pam Rances. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The Senate unanimously approved on third and final reading on Thursday the 4.506 trillion pesos proposed national budget for 2021. House Bill number 77 to 27, or the 2021 General Appropriations Bill, had been certified as urgent by President Duterte to ensure that its approval will not be delayed of the senators. Only Senators Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who tested positive for COVID-19, and Laila de Lima, who remains detained, were not able to vote on the priority measure. Before the third reading approval, Senator Juan Edgardo Sonny Angara, chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance and principal sponsor of the GAB, summarized the senators' proposed changes in the House-approved budget bill. He said the Senate has set aside a huge amount in the unprogrammed appropriations for the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. There will also be significant funds devoted solely for the government's mass immunization program, including the storage, transportation, and distribution of the vaccines, which the Executive Department failed to consider in crafting the budget bill. The Senate has also allotted funds under the Department of Interior and Local Government for its contact tracing program to sustain Congress's initiative under the Bayanihan II law. Aside from the health sector, Angara also noted raises in the funds for government agencies and local government units to help in disaster response, mitigation, and rehabilitation. The House of Representatives on Wednesday approved on second reading a bill raising the age of statutory rape from the current 12 years old to 16 years old to protect young people from sexual exploitation and abuse. The lower chamber passed through voice voting House Bill 7836, which seeks to provide stronger protection against rape, acts of sexual exploitation, and sexual abuse, and increasing the age of determining the commission of statutory rape. The measure seeks to impose reclusion perpetua or 40 years imprisonment for the crime of statutory rape against minors who are under 16 years old. Current Philippine laws provide that sexual intercourse between children below 12 years old is illegal and tantamount to rape. The bill also defines grooming as predatory conduct of establishing a relationship, trust, or emotional connection with a minor under 18 years old for the purpose of perpetrating sexual abuse and exploitation. When grooming results in the consummation of any acts of sexual abuse or exploitation, the person responsible for the grooming shall be liable for rape. Under the measure, subsequent valid marriage between the victim and offender will not extinguish criminal liability. It shall also consider as aggravating circumstances in the commission of rape between the victim becomes pregnant, when the victim suffers a permanent mental or psychological disability, or when grooming is used. Benguet residents were greeted by uneven cooler weather on Thursday morning as the air temperature went down to 9.9 degrees Celsius, according to the State Weather Bureau. Pag-asa weather specialist Raymond Ordinario said the 9.9 degrees Celsius minimum air temperature was registered at the Agrometeorology Station of the Benguet State University in La Trinidad, Benguet. He also said that they also recorded the lowest minimum air temperatures on Thursday in Baguio City, Malaybalay City, Bukidnon, Tanay, Rizal, Casiguran, Aurora, and San Jose Occidental, Mindoro. Pag-asa also registered a slightly lower air temperature of 22.5 degrees Celsius at the Science Garden Monitoring Station in Quezon City around 6 a.m. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship and Go Negosyo founder Joey Concepcion is leading efforts of the private sector to procure 2.5 million to 3 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine from British-Swedish pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca. The private sector is working closely with vaccine czar Sec Carlito Galvez, who is leading separate government-led discussions with pharma companies, including AstraZeneca, who has a zero-profit program for 2021, which means the vaccines are priced as low as possible. A tripartite agreement will be signed today by Concepcion, who is representing the private sector, Secretary Galvez, and Lotis Ramin, President of AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals Philippines Incorporated, at Jocon Hall in RFM Corporate Center. The representatives from the signatory companies will participate via Zoom conference. Half of the donated vaccines will be set aside for government frontliners, while the other 50% will cover employees in the private sector, both regular and contractual. He adds that Go Negosyo will purchase 70,000 doses of the vaccine for MSMCs, which will cover 35,000 people. The vaccine from AstraZeneca is expected to cost around 500 pesos for 2 doses, which is cheaper than regular testing methods. The deal has an estimated value of 600 million to 700 million pesos. In Metro News, Manila launches nutrition program for newborn babies, nursing mothers, and pregnant women. Caloocan government starts distribution of tablets to students. And San Juan to launch historical bike trail in 2021. More from this report.
The Manila City Government will be giving nutritious food to newborn babies, nursing mothers, and pregnant women in a bid to combat malnutrition. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso led the launching of the Sustansya Rap Nutri-Foods Dagdag Nutrition kay Nanay at Baby sa panahon ng pandemya sa Maynila this week. Dumagoso said they launched the program after coming across studies about malnutrition in the country around 4 months ago. A budget of around 116 million pesos was allocated to provide nutritious food to about 40,000 babies aged 6 months and below, nursing mothers and pregnant women in the capital city for 90 days. The Manila Mayor also urged residents to practice responsible family planning, especially amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The local government of Caloocan City has started distribution of the tablets computers to students in need of devices for ongoing blended learning system. Mayor Oka Malapitan on Wednesday led the activity held at Bagong Barrio Senior High School, Caloocan High School, Tandang Sora Integrated High School, Caloocan City Science High School, and MB Asisio High School, where grade 11 and grade 12 students received their tablets. The local chief executive also assured grade 9 and 10 students of their public schools that they will also get the tablet devices in the coming days. To boost local tourism, San Juan City is set to launch next year a historical bike trail featuring the city's notable landmarks and historic sites. Mayor Francis Zamora said the city's historical bike trail will showcase the Pinaglamanan Shrine, Museo ng Katipunan, El Deposito Museum, and the El Deposito Underground Tunnel. While riding bicycles, local and foreign tourists will soon visit the 2 oldest churches in the city, the St. John the Baptist Church and the Santuario del Santo Cristo Church, as well as the Club Filipino, Green Hills Mall Loop, and the Marcos Mansion. Located at the heart of the Metro Manila, San Juan played a major role in the country's quest for freedom from colonizers.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Region 1's #1 drug leader and 3 others nabbed in bypass operation. GCQ in Eastern Samar extended for 14 days. And 2 Daula Islamaya supporters surrender in Lanao del Sur. More from this report.
A notorious drug leader and 3 others were arrested in a buy-bust operation in Barangay Orbistondo, San Juan, La Union on Wednesday. The arrested suspects were Christian Kasugay Rivera, 29 years old, Harvey Munar Singson, 40 years old, Medric Arafales de la Cruz, 21 years old, and Michelle Leria Luquen, 23 years old. Rivera was tagged as the leader of the Rivera Drug Group operating in Region 1 and was a subject of manhunt operations. Seized from the suspects are the 1,000 peso bill marked money, various firearms and live ammunition, 1 hand grenade, 20 grams of suspected shabu with an estimated value of 136,000 pesos, a digital weighing scale, and different drug paraphernalia. Eastern Samar Governor Ben Evardone has issued an executive order extending the General Community Quarantine or GCQ for another 14 days in Eastern Samar due to the spike in coronavirus disease cases. Restrictions such as the prohibition on movement for leisure are once again implemented to curb the virus. All forms of mass gatherings are still prohibited except for the provision of critical government services and humanitarian activities that should adhere to prescribed minimum health standards. Two Daula Islamia Maute group supporters surrendered to the military in Barangay Dilausan, Madalim, Lanao del Sur as the military continued to implement the whole-of-the-nation approach to win the hearts of local terrorist groups in the most troubled areas in Mindanao. The two Daula Islamia Maute group supporters were identified as Agar Sarif and Mansa Sarif. They turned over one Garand rifle and one Stag Arms M4 rifle as a gesture of their sincerity to reintegrate to mainstream society. According to authorities, they returned to the fold of the law after a series of negotiations with the municipal consultant of Madalum and the implementation of the peace campaign of the 55th Infantry Battalion.
In world news, Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine 95% effective according to Russia. 14 dead as twin blast rock historic Afghan city. And Scotland becomes first country to offer free period products. Let's watch this report.
Russia said Tuesday its Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine is 95% effective and would be cheaper and easier to store than some alternatives, as a global race heats up to develop a jab. In a statement on Tuesday, the vaccine's developers said preliminary data after trials involving thousands of volunteers showed an efficacy of the vaccine above 90% after a second dose. The two-dose vaccine will be available on international markets for less than $10 per dose and will be free for Russian citizens. It can be stored at between 35.6 and 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit instead of the temperatures far below freezing required for some other vaccines. At least 14 people were killed in central Afghanistan on Tuesday when two blasts ripped through the historic city of Bamiyan, home to many members of the mainly Shiite Hazara ethnic minority. The twin bombing marked the latest big attack in Afghanistan, where violence has surged in recent months, even as Taliban and Afghan government negotiators are meeting for peace talks in Doha, Qatar. According to authorities, the two suspects had been arrested who planted the explosives in two separate locations. Scotland on Tuesday voted to offer free universal access to period products, becoming the first country in the world to do so. The Scottish Parliament voted unanimously in favor of the Period Products Bill, which makes it a legal right to have free access to sanitary products in public buildings. Sanitary products are free for students in Scotland, but the bill now places a legal duty on ministers to set up a countrywide scheme to ensure anyone can get access to them. Schools, colleges, and universities must also make a range of period products available for free in their toilets.
In entertainment, a fit and toned Jennifer Lopez posed nude for the cover art of her latest single, In the Morning, which drops on November 26, Friday or Saturday, Manila time. In just 2 hours, the photo got more than 3.6 million likes from fans around the world. J-Lo also posted a teaser video of the song on her social media accounts, which had thousands of views and comments from excited fans. Apart from a new single, J-Lo is also launching her own beauty line on January 1, 2021 called J-Lo Beauty. Slapshot's frontman and lead vocalist Hamir Garcia passed away this morning. He was 42 years old. According to a report by the Quezon City Police District, the singer hanged himself at his home in Quezon City. His death came a few months after Slapshot bassist Lee Nadella confirmed the band had disbanded, revealing ongoing friction between him and other members, including Garcia. Nadella alleged Garcia and other band members have been withdrawing band royalties from their shared account on digital music platform TuneCore without their consent. The band popularized numerous songs including Cariño Brutal, Sigaw, and Agent Orange. In sports, Diego Maradona, one of the greatest players of all time, died Wednesday at the age of 60, plunging his native Argentina and football fans around the world into mourning. Renowned along with Pele as one of the finest players ever to grace the field, the Argentine World Cup winning captain had undergone brain surgery this month and died of a heart attack, according to a member of his entourage. Maradona will forever be remembered for his hands of God goal against England in the 1986 World Cup quarter-final in Mexico City when he pushed the ball into the net. He struggled with addiction to cocaine and alcohol and had been plagued for poor health in recent years. Argentine President Alberto Fernandez announced 3 days of national mourning in the South American country. Family members were summoned to his home north of Buenos Aires before the announcement of his death was made. Grieving fans later gathered at the obelisk landmark in the center of Buenos Aires and at Boca Juniors Stadium, the Bombonera, where Maradona played from 1981 to 82 and 1995 to 1997. And those are the news on web today, November 26, 2020. It's 29 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of the Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mp.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Pam Rances for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.